Prometheus had a real mystery on his hands. One of these individuals could very well be the leader of the cult of Lamashtu. Rather than face him and his companions with the rest of their pack, they fled, and the trail led them here. The place was surrounded. No one could leave. And no one would tell him who the leader was. They would all point fingers at each other. No one would take the blame. No one would. We would have to try and discern who was lying, who was telling the truth, who was keeping secrets. A different kind of adventure. Hello and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker with me, McGammar. Today, we investigate. Let's first talk to our guard.
For the spot to rest.
Keston's brow is furrowed. He looks at you as though awaiting your orders. Who would you interrogate first? Keston shoots a glance at a dwarf at the counter. The hostess has been stirring hate at us ever since we entered. Mind her. I need some time, Keston. Don't let any of them leave. Watch them. I'll be back soon. So we'll talk to Doomer first. She is the hostess, after all. Doomer looks at you without a word. I'm looking for someone. Can you help me? Doomer gives you a sullen glance. It seems she's not too happy to talk with you, but she doesn't dare refuse it openly. Do you know any of your guests are? Why should I? Doomer tilts her head, her eyes apprising you. I'm not their lord. They come and go when they pay for their bed, and they keep quiet. Why would I care who they are? A crime has happened, Doomer. I need your help finding the culprit. So what did this culprit do wrong? Doomer's voice becomes thick, corners of her mouth curved down. Shot a deer in someone's lands, and now this criminal has run away as if she had an animal herself. Whatever it is, leave me out of it! A cultist of Lamashtu is hiding in your lodge. I had to find them. Doomer stares at you for a moment, and utters a hoarse chuckle. Well, Lamashtu's own. That's quite the story you've spun, your grace. Next time you'll tell me that I'm holding Rovagod down in the cellar. And what is your proof of our hard cultists? There are footprints leading to your lodge. So what? Folk come from this lodge every day, both from the flatlands and the swamps. Your lodge is the only house in the neighborhood. And, she lifts her chin, is that a bad thing to provide shelter for those who've lost? Several hours walk from your ledge is a shrine to Lamashtu. Baron, enough! The dwarf clasps her hands. Here in the stolen land, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting one of the dead goblins' nests, or a cursed ruin, or a shrine to something foul. I don't like your tone, Doomer. Really? The dwarf frowns, her eyes narrowing. And how would you react if a mob barged into your home and started troubling you and your guests? If you were expecting me to bow and scrape before you, you've got mistaken. I'm not going to argue with you. Doomer crosses her arms and lifts her chin. Do you let everyone into your house? Doomer's face turns red. What are you hinting at, huh? You're a guest, Doomer. Do you allow anyone who asks to spend the night here? Doomer blinks several times, pondering your words. Course, everyone. What else am I to expect to do? Pick up who gets a warm spot near the fireplace and who gets left out in the rain? I've let you in your tongues, although you'd put the terror in my other guests. Do you remember when you came to your lodge, at least? Doomer closes her eyes, trying to recall. I want to check on me traps. Some people arrived while I was away, so I can't tell you for sure, your grace. Let's get back to my other questions. What else haven't I told you? How many people are there in your lodge right now, except for you? Watch yourself. There are 3 of them, all sitting over there. Doomer nods towards their guests. That one in the kitchen's guessed by the servants of those 2 noble folk. They look to be carrying all the coin. I'd like to examine your room, Doomer. Doomer's hands tighten into fists, and she keeps them on her hips. She says nothing, merely stares at you defiantly. Listen, the sooner I cross you off my list of suspects, the sooner I'll leave you alone. Do me a favor and give me your room key, and all this will be over before you know it. Doomer is silent for a moment, then nods and pulls out an old, age-darkened key from her belt. Your way then. Her eyes narrow. But have a care, no digging through me undergarments, or have your hands on hooks, you hear? Loud and clear. I have to go. So we got 1 key. Let's turn our gaze over towards that person by the fire. Olika. A young woman stands before you, wearing a plain dress and a hooded cloak. Her belly is swollen. She's pregnant, and her time is near. Oh, your grace, it's an honor. The woman... let me give her a different voice.
Oh, your grace, it's an honor.
The woman bows, then stares at you with shining eyes.
I thought I'd never be able to thank you in person for your kindness, but God's been so kind to me. You must have forgotten already, but it was you who discovered my husband's body. A traitor died on one of his trips. You found a brooch and a letter of his body and had it sent to me.
She touches a turquoise brooch pinned to her dress. The brooch is familiar to you.
You made it possible for the last gift from my husband to have found its way home. There's not enough words in the world for how grateful I am.
What are you doing here?
I'm taking what rest I can offer after a long day on the road, your grace. I'm a widow.
She stops short.
I've barely had 2 seasons to mourn my husband, and he left me with a child, and difficult times like these. I've got a sister in Galton. God bless her, she agreed to give me a shelter in her house, so I went there. There was nowhere else to go.
A memory of Alika's letter emerges from the depths of your mind. She mentioned her son in the letter, but now there's no child in her by her mother. It's odd that Alika, who's been planning to stay in Galton, didn't bring her son with her. Where are you from?
From Gaul, your grace. I'm from a tiny village near the tract. Guess no one here ever heard of that place.
We succeed in the world check. You recall the location of Galt and Galton. As far as you know, the stolen lands lay aside from the places Alika just mentioned. Uh-huh. Are you planning to stay in Galton?
Alika says, I don't know yet, she answers. But if things turned out well, why not?
It was a long journey for you.
Alika shrugs. I have little coin, your grace, so I have to beg traders to the road to ride in their carts. I spend nights anywhere I have to. This place is at least warm and dry.
Let's talk about something else.
Alika nods. Of course, your grace.
I need a key to your room. Alika hesitates, then takes a key from her cloak and hands it to you without a word. I'm looking for a cultist of a dark goddess. Can you help me?
Alika pales. A cultist? That's horrible, but how can I help you?
Have you seen anything suspicious tonight?
Alika shakes her head slowly. No, I don't think so.
Do you know anyone in this hut?
First time I've seen these people was when I stepped over the threshold of this lodge.
Do you know who came to the lodge last?
Alika frowns. I heard a noise from the kitchen. It was like something fell on the floor, and then this grumpy old lady, Tumra, came out.
Okay. Let's talk about something else. Alika gives you several hasty nods. It seems this talk of cultists has frightened her. I should go. Alright, last person in the room then. Let's talk to, Cabron or Una. Let's talk to Una. And we talk to Cabron anyway. They must be a linked pair. A bearded, middle-aged man stands before you. He wears a massive gold chain on his neck. The woman beside him gives him a polite smile and nods as you approach.
Greetings, Baron.
The man's voice is so low as to rumble.
Let me introduce myself. Cabron Tantrum from Rostov.
He nods to the woman beside him.
And this is my wife, Una Tantrum. We've come to your lands to hunt. Yes, I admit, we did not expect to meet you in person. Who do we owe this honor?
Tell me about yourself, please.
I'm a legalist, Baron.
Cabron hooks his thumbs into his embroidered belt.
My job is to ensure Rostov's laws are upheld. My wife is the keeper of the hearth and my loyal companion in prolonged journeys.
Una nods without a word, her gaze fixed on you. Legalist. So you're a judge? Cabron smiles slightly.
No, exactly. I work as a legal defendant in cases where suspects' innocence must be proven. And I admit I have moderate success in this field.
Cabron seems about to elaborate and then stops.
No need to bother you with the tedious tales of the courts.
Una Tantrum raises her head.
I've decided a trip was in order. My husband worked long hours during the last several months, and so he felt a journey would be good for us.
Oh yes, of course, Cabron Tantrum. I've heard about you and your famous legal cases. Cabron Tantrum freezes as if someone put a knife to his throat.
Is that so?
He tries to smile, but his eyes are fearful.
Oh, don't, Baron. It's anything hard hits on me. My family name is a common one. I've so many relatives. I know not a quarter of them.
He clears his throat. Well, with a difficult job like yours, it's impossible to get by without some divine support. Whom do you address your prayers to?
Why, to Abadar, of course, divine patron of law and lawyers.
Cabron looks at you intently.
Surely, you are aware of Abadar, you not? You must be. No matter.
Now let's get back to my other questions.
As you wish, your grace.
You recognize me at once. Do I know you?
I doubt it, but news from the developments within the Stormlands and your role in them has traveled far. Prometheus is a well-known name far beyond the borders.
Cabron gives you a polite half-bow. Prometheus smiles uncomfortably. He's not sure He's not sure that he would stun enough to... Oh no, he's worried that his mother has heard of him. Oh no, he doesn't want Mother to come and visit here. Oh no. He just prays. The woman in the kitchen, is that your cook? Gabron nods quickly.
Yes, we just can't imagine our lives without Sana.
Una coughs delicately. My constitution demands a unique diet. She studies you closely. A private matter, if you don't mind. Okay. Far from Bravoy, are you not?
You see, Cabron clears his throat. I've heard that the wildlife here is excellent sport, so I decided to see for myself. The sword troops from rumor, you understand. Fortunately, my fair wife was in favor of the trip, so here we are.
Do you prefer snares or a bow?
A bow.
What kind of prey do you hunt? Keston freezes. He swallows.
Cougars.
He swallows again, as if fighting to take a breath.
Magnificent predators, worthy prey, for a worthy hunter.
He gives an awkward smile. Well, I hope you enjoy your hunting. Let's change the topic.
My pleasure.
An odd place to rest for a night.
Why, Baron?
Una gives a false smile.
We adore this charming dwelling.
She glances around the dim hall. Her smile remains, but you notice she raises an eyebrow at her surroundings, as if in judgment. A crime has taken place nearby. The one responsible may be hiding in this house. Have you seen... No, we'll say that later. I need a key to your room. Despite Una's cool expression, you notice a bead of sweat running down her temple. As she spots your glance, her lips tighten. Keston takes the key from his purse and hands it to you.
As you wish, my baron.
A crime has taken place nearby. The one responsible may be hiding in this house. Have you seen anything suspicious? The Tetrums exchange glances.
I'm afraid, Your Grace.
Cabron looks downcast.
We won't be able to help you.
Have you seen anyone suspicious? Cabron looks around the hall.
We're not accustomed to such company, Baron. Besides, from Rostov legalist point of view, every person in this room is suspicious.
I guess that makes sense given your occupation. Do you know the host of this lodge?
No, I don't.
Cabron rubs his brow.
And I must say, she doesn't look forward to meeting new people either.
Do you recall who came to the lodge in the last hour or so? Cabron casts a look behind you.
On second thoughts, this young woman, I didn't notice exactly when she entered the room.
He turns to his wife.
My dear, perhaps you recall? What was the name of a hostess you saw just there?
Olika, sweetheart.
He shrugs faintly.
I cannot recall if I saw her at the start of the evening.
Let's go back to other questions. I'll come back to you later. Alright. So Aloka was just accused.
As it should
And
be.
Aloka kinda accused Doomra by saying that she came from the kitchen last. We look in the kitchen. Still filthy as ever. We've been here before. We look at the stove.
It is finished.
Something is burning inside the stove. It was thrown in the fire not long ago. And we talked to Sana. He's looking right at us. The kitchen servant is busy, grinding herbs within a mortar. She's wearing a dress, soiled with dark stains, and her hair is knotted into a bun, with a few stray hairs poking free. The woman doesn't appear to notice you as she makes her way to the stove. You notice that she's limping badly on her right leg. Before you can speak, she turns and sees you and freezes. Alright, well... You're suspect number one now, because we know that our person had a limp despite their speed. Who are you?
Name's Sana. I cook for the Tetrums, nobles of Rostov.
She wipes her hands with her apron.
Willoughby.
What can you tell me about your masters? Sana frowns.
No quicker road to trouble, talking about masters, that is.
She glances at you and her clothes and sighs.
How would you like it if your servants were all the gossip about you? They pay regular, not stingy with a coin. They don't yell much, so I count myself fortunate I do.
Why are they here, you think?
None of my business. Might have been they had things to do, but I wouldn't know it. I mend, I cook, I serve when, where needed.
Alright, that's enough about the Teldrums. Sana doesn't react. I need the key to your room.
Room?
She raises an eyebrow.
I don't have a room except here in the kitchen. Bed's a bench, still warm enough, though.
What are you cooking, Sana? She throws a glance at the stove.
There's for tomorrow.
She hesitates.
Tomorrow's midday meal. It is.
It must be difficult to please the nobles like the Teldrums. I imagine they ask for something new each day's meal. Sana thinks about it.
Yes.
She hesitates and nods.
That's it, suppose.
Peek into the stew pot. You take the lid off the pan. Some brew boils inside. It looks strange and smells odd. You lean over and smell the stew. and immediately flinch. The acrid stench of vinegar feels like a punch in the face. Inside, you can smell some strange spice, which would be appropriate in the dessert, but not in the first course for dinner. Alright, I won't trouble you any longer. You have my thanks. We're looking for a criminal who may have fled this way. Have you seen anyone suspicious? What can be seen here, you say? Sana sorts. Ask Doomer. She runs the house, she does. Has anyone come into the kitchen recently? Only Doomer came. She frowns. No doubt checking to see if I'm not planning on silver. If there's anything worth stealing here, so there's not. The hostess of the lodge doesn't mind you cooking in her kitchen. As if she came here often herself. She throws up her hands. Filth piled in corners and the floor sandal deep in dirt. I had to work my fingers to the bone to clean the kitchen before I could start a proper meal in this. She calls her lip. This cowshed. That's all I need. She waves her hand and turns back to the stew boiling on the stove. I have to go. Anything new in here? Aha.
A trivial matter.
The back door was used recently. I guess it pulls out instead of in, otherwise it would have knocked everything down. So if we look at Lindsay's journal, it's keeping a good little archive of all the things that we spotted while we've been doing this. Let's see. Throwing out accusations at random will get us nowhere. We need a hard evidence. There aren't many women in the world grumpier than this Doomra. She looks none too pleased at our arrival. Alika is definitely hiding something. She's claimed she's going to live with her sister, but there's no sign of her son around. According to Alika, she's traveling to Galton. That sounds perfectly normal, but how she end up in the Stolenlands? They're the completely opposite direction. Cabron Tedrum is quite jumpy after Averin told him he heard about him earlier. Cabron Tedrum claims that he'd come to the Averin to hunt, but he knows almost nothing about hunting, even less than I do. What a ridiculous idea, searching for cougars in the swamp. Una is definitely not sincere when she says she likes the place. This moneybag must have serious reason to stay in this hull. Reason that she doesn't want us to know about. As soon as we asked the Rostov guests about their room, Una started sweating. Why is her so worried? Is there something that we can find among their things? Aha! It looks like something was burned in the stove just before our arrival. Right, this kitchen made in limps, and just like our rogue runaway. And unless Sana is intentionally trying to poison her masters, her cooking skills are way below average. Hired as a chef, doesn't know about cooking. Yeah, okay, Sana's the most suspicious here. But we got keys to everybody's rooms. So let's go ahead and use them. Or not. We can have a quick save, and we can see if we can have people pick it open before we try doing it.
It's higher.
It looks like we just unlocked it for no real reason.
Nok-Nok nervous when watched. I did it. I did.
Okay, we unlocked all the rooms, I think.
Follow my lead.
It doesn't look like there's anything too particularly different in the other rooms. And we still have the option to rest here because we kept our room key. So, in order of closest to the stairway to the furthest, let's take a look at all these things we can investigate. So, the bags contain children's clothes and personal belongings. The sheets are crumpled, the blanket is thrown aside. It seems that someone was sleeping in this bed not long ago.
A trivial matter.
There are no hunting, bows, arrows, snares, nor any other sign that the Totems ever have any hunting on their mind. So they lied to us about their hunting trip. Okay.
That is not far.
And Doomer's room. A pile of dirty clothes covers some snares. There are a few hunting bows and quivers with arrows. Okay, so she does actively hunt and trap out here. The sheets on his bed look dirty. The old bever, however, is sewed together from a number of patches. Okay, so she can't really afford better. She makes do with what she's got. Receipts, shopping lists, and other papers pile over Doomer's table.
In due time.
Yeah, she's running a respectable business. Okay, so she's just mad that we're here. And so now we go to Alika's room. Chest contains modest clothing, some pocket leftover food, and a purse of herbs and other personal belongings. The table holds a pile of letters crossed with ribbon. There are letters from Alika's deceased husband. It seems they corresponded often. And we look at her bed.
It is finished.
The mattress covers bloodstained cloth and bandages. Ugh! Oh, I'm guessing your pregnancy isn't going well. Oh, that's bad. That's real bad.
According to plan.
Okay, well, we have to confront these people about this. So let's talk to the Tedrums. Tedrum lowers his head. Your Grace, I've been to your room. I found no hunting weapons there. Cabron becomes white as a sheet.
You see, well...
He licks his lips, which are now trembling slightly. Ona, who is watching her husband closely, touches his shoulder lightly.
I beg your pardon, Baron.
She leans to Cabron and whispers something in his ear. Would you overhear? You barely hear Una's hiss.
Get a hold of yourself, you fool. You'll ruin everything.
These words seem to have the desired effect. Cabron suddenly straightens and smiles.
Truth be told, I'm rather embarrassing matter.
Cabron gives a hollow chuckle.
I proved to be much worse hunter than I thought. Just imagine, I just stopped not one, not two, but 3 bowstrings in a day. Infuriated, I broke my bow across my knee. It changed me to even speak of it.
Una smiles gently and looks aside. Alright. They're still lying. They're maintaining their lie. Una's hiding something. Alright, so Alika.
You want to ask me about something else?
Alika gives you a faint smile. Alika, why are there blood-stained undergarments in your room? Where is that from? What, this seems really personal to approach about. I'd say sheets, not undergarments, but here we are. Alika takes a step back, and her eyes wide as fear.
I'll explain.
The woman lowers her head and rests her hands against the belly.
I'm expecting a baby, but because of the journey or all the worries, something must have gone wrong. It hurts.
She closes her eyes tightly.
And I bleed.
Alika starts up.
I tried to find out what's wrong, to heal myself, to appease the gods. The priest of Pharasma told me he couldn't help. The goddess rejected my child, said it would be born dead. But I just can't accept it. I can't give up. The child, my husband's child, all I have left of him.
Alika hides her face behind her hands and starts to weep. You realize you'll get nothing more from her at the moment. She composes herself better. You see this couple at the table? They are nobles from Rostov. They claim you were the last one to come into the hall. Alika gives you a perplexed look.
That's not true. It's not.
Her voice trembles.
The hostess, she was the last one. I remember her coming through the kitchen.
She's panicking and she's just trying to point a finger at someone else. Yeah, okay. I don't want to bother her anymore. Alright, given all we know, given all the information we have, it's pretty clear that we know who the culprit is. Keston's brow is furrowed. He looks at you, awaiting your orders. There's someone who seems especially suspicious to me. Just call the name, and I will interrogate that person. It is Sana, Tedrum's maid. Keston raises his brow. You think so? He thinks for a moment, then nods. As you wish, my baron, I'll bring her. I think, Sana, you know why I brought you here. The kitchen servant casts a wary look at Keston and says,
I would? How? You jest me, lord.
She gives you a half smile that's uncertain.
How could I know what you are thinking?
Keston shakes his head. Enough! We know who you are. Lamashtu won't help you. Sana is silent for a moment, then straightens like a serpent, her eyes cold with contempt.
Is that so?
Her accent has vanished, and her demeanor is a peasant shed like a cloak.
And you know little of our faith indeed. The Great Mother is with me.
Sana's voice is ice.
Prepare yourself for her.
Fatal mistake.
Okay, so, she's here, and I move first, and I don't want her to do anything. So how about, confidence call? She resisted. Nok-Nok, go.
Be easier if you not fight back.
Nice. Good sneak damage. Can we do it? Can we get it again?
Let us strike as one.
Yes. Can we knock you down? Yeah. Good dog. Well done, Akbo. And now, let's finish her.
Aim true. Time to search for the spot to rest.
Enough. I yield. Stop. I surrender.
The priestess of Lamashtu holds her hands over her bleeding wounds, moaning in pain. She raises the hem of her skirt and starts to wipe away the blood from her legs. Her right leg is covered with sores, oozing pus and yellow ichor. You and your minions unleash a blight across my lands. Because of you, monsters overrun the barony, and honest people fear to live in their homes. Fear to leave their homes even. The priestess of Lamashtu shakes her head and tries to close her wounds, moaning.
That's nonsense. I heard the stories about what's happening in your barony, half-elf, but I've nothing to do with this. The Great Mother rules the monsters of this world, but if you had truly earned her wrath, your land would be drowning in blood. No, Baron, you must look elsewhere to place blame. Lamashtu and her followers have nothing to do with your troubles.
Tell me who you are, quick now!
I am the priestess of the cult of Lamashtu, the Great Mother, the ancestor of monsters.
The priestess struggles to raise her chin, her voice a hiss.
I'm not from these lands. I come because of the pleas of your people, who seek the mercy of my goddess. I came to these lands in secret and hid my identity for everyone except those initiated in the mysteries of the Great Mother. From the hosts of the lodge had no idea who I was, and from those looking for divine benefaction found me on their own, and there are more than followers of Rastal would have you believe.
Tell me about the cult of Lamashtu.
We are numerous, we are strong. The tribe of Lamashtu's followers grows every day, breeds, and spreads over the lands of Golarion in search of a place to create new packs.
What kind of rituals were you performing at the shrine?
We prayed to Lamashtu. We asked for new offspring in the pack. We mated like wild animals, free of stupid prejudice.
Priestess' lips curl into a grin.
I'll spare you the details, half-help. Those like you are unable to accept the greatness of our ancient faith.
Well, we don't have a lawful choice here. It disgusts me to listen to this. No, I'll say this one. If I have to do something that's not lawful. I'm not impressed by your attempts to wound my pride. The priestess says nothing, her eyes filled with contempt. Where are the rest of Lamashtu's cultists hiding? The woman's face turns to stone.
You cannot make me betray the children of the Great Mother. Torture me if you like. Lamashtu will grant me the strength to endure any pain that you inflict upon me.
Have you allied with the goblins or other creatures in the area?
No, we have the same mistress, but our paths of fate are different.
Enough about that.
I hold no illusions that you could grasp the wisdom of my goddess.
All these people at the lodge, are they here because of you? The priestess shakes her head.
They were searching for the blessing of the Mashtu. Other gods have doomed and denied them, and had asked the mother of monsters for benefaction.
The couple from Rostov, did they come to meet you?
Yes. Several years ago, the lawyers defended a necromancer in the court of his native city, and he won the trial. Since then, all of Teldrum's attempts to conceive a child were doomed to fail. Pharasma didn't want to prolong the bloodline of a man who protected those who raised the dead. Una had more brains than her spineless mate, and so she sought the support of Lamashtu. The child, of course, will bear the mark of goddess. But Teldrum doesn't have much choice. Pharasma's memory is long.
That seems real petty of Pharasma. I mean, there's nothing to say that the child would also continue to defend necromancers. Ah, well. Maybe it's the doing of one of Pharasma's own clerics. One of the ones who were, like, in the area when they saw the judge and didn't feel it was right. The will of a cleric is not necessarily the will of the god that the cleric follows. What is the story of the merchant's widow?
Oligalgalga. She's a poor and clinging into unborn life in her womb. The seed of her husband was too weak. Olika's child is doomed to perish before coming to this world.
Is the lodge hostess involved in all this? The priestess of Lamashtu looks at the Doomer with disgust.
This thoughtless thing? No, she did not see, was not smart enough to see what was transpiring under her nose. I won't offend the name of Lamashtu by calling our hostess one of her tribe.
Enough. The priestess glares at you, hatred and contempt in her eyes. Keston, I have an order for you. Keston turns to you. Your Grace? Christian moves in closer to you.
Please be merciful to these people. Imagine how great the despair must be to turn to their monstrous Lamashtu for help. Though the thought disgusts me, the priestess did try to help them in whatever way she could.
Valerie folds her hands across her chest and looks at you with interest. The priestess's guilt is obvious to me. The others, not so much. We have many options here. These people are innocent. Let them leave. Sir Priestess, she's banished from these lands forever. See to it that she is removed from the barony at once. Tristian looks at you gratefully.
I don't think the Stolen Lands will ever have seen someone as kind and noble as you.
We are now lawful good.
Harsh, but fair. Befitting a true ruler. Your Grace, right?
You can barely hear Alika's words through the sobs.
Let me ask you. No, let me beg you. Allow this priestess to perform one last ritual. Let her save my child. I have no other hope except for Tsana.
Fine. Malika, this priestess will perform her ritual for you. Then Keston will follow my orders. Servant Lamashu, are you ready to help this woman? You may think of me whatever you like, but I have a duty to my pack. I'll help Malika, and the child will be born as a symbol of Lamashu's grace. We performed a chaotic good action, even though that wasn't labeled, and we are now neutral good. Dang it! Keston throws a tired look over his lodge and rubs his chin. That's all. He looks around the lodge. We'll deal with those people as you've ordered. I suppose there'll be a relief to Doomra to get rid of such troublesome guests. I thank you, Your Grace, for your help and his wisdom. A pity we didn't discover the true reason behind the blight. But at least we have now one less mystery on our hands. Have a safe journey, my Baron.
My Baron, I just don't know how to thank you.
And Doomra had something to add there, too.
Lived a long life, but this is a message of something new. Thank you for sorting everything out, Baron.
Well, we're still here for something else, though. I remember our orc companion told us to come here and look for a two-fingered woman who was staying at this lodge. We didn't see her during the mystery, but maybe she was phased out. Maybe we have to leave and come back. Who knows? We'll see. Let's take a look around for her. Yeah, none of them had only two fingers. Not here. Maybe I have to leave and come back.
That is not
Maybe I have to leave and come back. Time did move in the act of moving to that area. I believe it's now midnight. I'm not sure how much time we lost. We'll see when I get to the map. To be quite honest, though, I wasn't really paying attention to how much time I was using. I was just really surprised that I came across that area on Moon Day of all times. The exact time that I needed to arrive. Yep, it's night. Alright, go back in. Says it has a new event. We're here, might as well.
Oh, time to get some rest, isn't it?
Okay, adventurers everywhere. Citizen, yeah, her place populated again real quickly. Guess that whole murder business wasn't too big of a deal. More adventures, citizen, nobody in there. Dimmer's room's there, we already been through that. How about this room? A stranger. That's not a citizen or an adventurer. So, before we interact with her, we save the game. And say howdy.
Search for the spot to rest.
The girl was eyeing you expectantly, her hand laying casually over her weapons. The hand is missing two smallest fingers.
Who do I have the pleasure of addressing?
I am Prometheus, the Baron of these lands. Who are you?
I am the last Wall Inquisitor, Iomede's servant. I'm looking for a dangerous criminal. His trail leads to the Stolen Lands. The rascal is the only remaining member of the gang that spreads terror across the lands. I took a vow to put an end to their bloody tale.
Okay. What has this criminal done?
The half-orc formed a gang with his wife, sons, and daughters. Armade alone knows how many people he killed with for their money, and how many children are deprived of parents. The whole family is awash in bloodshed, until my comrades and I tracked them down and put an end to their violence. Only for us managed to escape. I couldn't let the criminal go unpunished, and I swore to pursue him until one of us falls dead. I only here lost his track at the edge of the swamps of the Stolen Lands. You would hardly take an interest in this matter if you weren't involved. Do you know anything about Vrask? Where is he now? Say the word, and I'll rid your lands of this bastard.
Vrask is on the right side of the law now. He won't hurt anyone. The girl studies you for a moment, and then speaks with regret.
Do you think I'll give up on my mission just like that? I won't. I know he's alive. I know where he is.
He's in your capital, right? Even if he's not there, he must be somewhere nearby. I shall keep looking for him until I fulfill my vow. I need Vrask, and he wants your blood. It's as simple as that. We're not gonna turn over one of our craftsmen. I hate that we had to make a chaotic evil action. All right, let's get her wrapped up in melee.
Do not falter.
All right, she's positively terrified by our weapon. We can just throw lots of bombs, and she's down. Maybe there'll be some blood left and all that. Alright, we got an Amulet of Natural Armor +1, Cloak of Resistance +2, Belt of Giant Strength +2, a normal breastplate, some Alchemist Fire, a couple of potions, a Composite Longbow, Light Shield, Masterwork Sword, and the blood of the murderer of Harass family. That feels real bad! That feels real bad! Who's to say that they were a gang? Who's to say they were a gang? Huh? Were they just being racist because they were orcs? Like, they were half orc. Like...
As it should be.
Oh, disgusting. So now, okay, I know that I'm 2 lawful steps away from becoming lawful.
May we have a moment of respite?
People are tired, I'm hurt, we're kinda low on spells, but it is time that we make it back to our capital. The fastest way back to our capital is that way, and we haven't claimed anything over here. Except for that sapphire field. We're fine. Fine. I could probably grab this flat top hill on the way back. We'll go to the Shambling Steps. 14 hours on the road. And we're here. Well, for us, we are a great big pile of blood for you. We just very conveniently headed down in the direction that we needed to go. But we're going to help our artisans, and if this is what they want, and if it was either the choice between some stranger to our land and a craftsman, we're gonna help the craftsman.
Greetings, patron. How can I serve you? Looking for a hatchet or a helmet?
You lied about the murder of your family. It was an inquisitor. The old man looks at you angrily and warily.
Yes, it's true. Our family committed some petty sins. But do I want revenge on my family less, now because I'm a little light-fingered?
Brass licks his lips.
So, what are you gonna do now?
Abandon a murder, but you have the right to avenge your family. Don't worry, the malicious woman deserved to die. No, I'm gonna hold up my end of the bargain. And you hold up yours. I have more keys as I relieve.
Thank you. I'm an old man. I still wish to trample the ground a little longer.
I brought you blood of the one who murdered your family. The old man slaps himself on the thigh, happy enough to dance.
Yes! My clod is avenged! Ha ha! Old Vrask outlived you, you arrogant witch! Oh, how I would love to taste her blood. It must be so sweet.
It's full of acid.
Oh. I can't afford the pleasure. I'm going to need every bit of it to harden Earthbreaker.
We'll speak later. Get to work.
That is not far.
Vrask intrigued his grace with the story about a weapon that his family kept as a relic. What more might the master have to say? Well, we got the blood. Doesn't feel good. It was pretty evil.
May we have a moment of respite?
Okay. So it would be a direct walk back to the capital, would take 7 hours. We can go grab this thing. Yeah. More military. Woo. Wait, there's a tiny little bit here that's not... Okay. Hold on, something we gotta deal with at the capital. Uh-huh. Unrest in the streets. Okay, so we have to go to the throne room very quickly. We have problems. You wish to enter this location? No, the teleport circle is open. Aha! Haha, it works! Oh, this is great! Oh, I saved so much time just by teleporting. Oh, this is good. Okay, we have the emerald in our bag. I think Mim is supposed to be out here. Let's go and get this started.
Oh, time to get some rest, isn't it?
Mim. Okay. Normally these places have two. Weird that this place only has the one, but you know what? Maybe it's a really good one. Am I exhausted? I am exhausted. Of course I am. Aha! The girl looks at you with eager impatience. So, what about my request? Here's your emerald. Mim's eyes flash. Look at that color. And that size. An excellent item. Finally, I'll be able to bring my idea to life. Wonderful. I'm ready to remain here and work for your grace. I need only a place to live and work. I brought all the necessary tools. All I need is 4 walls and a roof and a salary, of course. I do need to eat. But I'll make it up to you. Oh, it's you, Your Grace. It's good to see you. What can I do for you? Who taught you your gold work? My father is a successful watchmaker. His shop supplies the richest families in Bravoy. When I grew up, it was time to teach me, and he decided to move from simple to complicated, to start with shell, then move on to mechanisms. I learned how to make gold chain, then how to cast perfectly smooth case, how to etch an ornament and encrust the jewels. It's entirely lost interest in springs and gears. How'd you learn to make magical items? Father insisted once he realized I was going to work with mechanisms, or wasn't going to work with mechanisms anyway. He said I'd need to have at least some practical skills, and arranged my apprenticeship with his old client, a grumpy old professor of transmutation. I pouted for a long time, but now I'm grateful. That knowledge is actually coming quite useful. I see. Can we talk about something else? It seems that Mim has again been carried away by a slide at the side of the mountains. Oh, yes, of course. What about? When did you decide to move here from Berestov? I didn't decide on any such thing. I just realized all my hair would go gray of boredom if I spent every single one more day in Restov's mud. I explained it to my father, packed up my things, and struck off over the hills and far away. I stopped here mostly because of the scenery. The tours of Lebanese are the most beautiful things I have ever seen. I wish I could climb to Talon Peak, but I can't seem to find the time. And when I do get a free day, the weather is always bad. Is it difficult for a master craftsman from the capital to get used to living in the country? Mim sniffs. Do you mean getting used to fresh air and clean water? To wearing simple, comfortable clothes every day and forgetting about makeup? What about not having to watch out for any stinky horse piles or puddles anywhere you step? Oh, yes, it's tough even out here. Do you have enough customers here? Thank you for asking, but your own orders are quite enough for me. I'm an artist, not a craftsman. I don't feel the slightest desire to drudge over the tasteless trinkets of the wives of merchants and elderly pleasure seekers. Besides, they wouldn't be able to afford my finest creations anyway. I see. I have to go. Well, she needs a workshop. Before I do that, though, let's have Akbo walk around town, see if there's just someone in a place that I didn't see. The towns all hold a very similar kind of layout. No? Okay. Well, I'll take it. Back we go. I sure am glad that we have teleportation. Teleportation is up and running. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. We can't learn the teleport spell in this game. Teleport is normally a spell that's available to arcane spellcasters. It has a small chance of failure, where sometimes it throws you in a far-off direction or a similar-looking town, but not the same town, but it's still a massive time saver. Oh, that's amazing. That takes no time at all. That's so good. Alright, let's enter the town and head to our capital. Wait. I have to build a workshop. That's right. It will slip my mind. I will forget. It almost did. So, we go over here. We enter. Did we get taxes during that time? We did. We have plenty of BP now. Yeah, we have our bulletin board. We have our hospital. We have our 2 shrines. Yeah, building that second shrine was great. Okay, so now we have... Let's order it alphabetically. Mim's Jewelry Shop. Economy when placed next to the Longhouse. Well, there you go. It's a thing of beauty. Okay, so... we can't go to the throne. We have to go into the throne room to be able to look at the throne. Okay, so we enter the throne room.
Not tired.
The throne room is full of people. Your allies stand around the throne, waiting in silence as you approach. The atmosphere is tense. Today, you'll be discussing the strange and deadly blight that's recently struck your barony. The gloomy silence is only penetrated by loud chewing. Nok-Nok has grabbed a whole fried chicken from the table and is busily devouring it, ignoring everyone else completely. Jod holds his hands on his chest.
Oh, now that we're all here, let's sum up what we know. We've each spent a lot of time and effort to learn what we can about where the monsters are coming from and what's causing this strange disease. I hope this conversation can help shed some light on the situation.
Keston shakes his head slowly. We need to hurry. If we don't find out the source of the blight and eliminate it, we may end up with a rebellion on our hands. Let's summarize what we found up to this point. Jod, Keston, and Tristian look at you closely. Jod, the surgery showed that it was a magical seed causing a disease, correct?
Right. Judging from location of the patient's bodies, these seeds were ingested. It seems likely that they're initially extremely small, almost invisible, and people somehow swallow them with their food. Once the seed is in the stomach, it begins to grow and cause the symptoms we see in our patients. As soon as the seed gains enough strength, it sprouts and turns into a magic portal. Just like a bud turning into a flower. Rest will forgive me.
Jod stares into the distance for a moment.
Something must have possessed me to say that. It really does look like blooming. Each seed tears a body out of its victim, just as a flower tears its bud.
Keston, we discovered that the Lamashu cultists weren't involved in a monster infestation. Keston nods. It doesn't mean they're innocent of other crimes, but the monster invasion is at least not their work. Hearing the name Lamashu draws Nok-Nok's attention.
Mother is not to blame here. Told you, but who listened me?
Goblins obviously like having all the monsters around. To them, it's a sign of Lamashu's benevolence. Keston grunts. I'd say they're just excited to be anything new that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if they're linked to the story somehow, but I doubt their seeds were created by goblin shamans. Besides, a plan like that seems a little beyond the local goblin chief's intelligence. Nok-Nok raises his head.
Know what I think? I think Goblin King is rotten lice scratcher. Shaman plays him like reed pipes, babbles about Lamashu, then plots behind his back.
Can you tell me where those monsters came from, Tristian? The ones that appear because of this, bloom? Tristian raises his eyes from his papers on the table. Undoubtedly from the same world as the alien to our own. As our monsters appearing from the bloom are exceptionally large and strong, it would be rare to encounter such specimens in the Stolen Lands, or even on most of Galarian. It's impossible to say what it is that lies on the other side of the portals that's intended on killing your people. That's all we need to know about the results of the research. Keston and John exchange glances. Tristan continues to dig through his papers. So, the bloom's essential properties are strange seeds getting into people's bodies, which causes these to eventually create magic portals. Now we just need to discover where the seeds are coming from. Tristan, who's been examining the map on the table for his shadows, gives a small cough. If I may, I've noticed an interesting detail. Well, two details to be precise. First, the seeds afflict those mostly the villagers. There have been no recorded curses or cases of diseases within the city limits, except for those who came here looking for the cure. Jod nods.
That's right. Thus, we can assume the common factor is how people are exposed to the seeds, and many villages get food from the same territory.
Tristan slowly shakes his head. I don't think food is the problem. Take a look. He points to the map. We have most cases of diseases here, here, and over here. Monsters mostly attack here and here. The cleric's fingers travel down the map, tapping points along a fluid line. You see? The situation is most dire along the banks of the Gudrun River. Everyone examines the map closely.
Rastal have mercy.
Jod exhales slowly.
Exactly, along the river. That must be where the seeds come from. From the drinking water.
Let's see. Keston, the militia most often finds the monsters by the river, right? We used to think that a monster was just coming to the river to drink. Keston rubs his forehead. If that's what the clerics say is right. There are dozens of villages along the riverbanks. Hundreds of people. How many are likely already infected? Jod looks at you closely.
Are you suggesting we wait for all to succumb to this bloom, Baron? Let's pray we can deal with the situation before that happens.
We have to go upstream and find the source of this blight. Nok-Nok jumps off your words.
Take me! Me!
The goblin bares his sharp, crooked teeth.
I want to settle the score with the king.
Keston straightens up and flexes his shoulders. If you allow me, Baron, I'd like to take the lead on this. I'll take my best members of the militia with me and sweep through the woods along the river. We'll look under each and every rock, if needed. Keston muffles a cough. After everything that we've been through, these people deserve a chance to discover the source of their misfortunes. No, Keston, we have to deal with this carefully and rationally. Go to your people and wait for my arrival. Keston casts his eyes down. You're right, of course. Your Grace? I'll order my men to get ready immediately. We'll wait for your arrival and then make our move. Tristan, how do you find the link between the disease and the river? The cleric glances pensively at the maps. You see, Baron, these seeds are not only a sign of something abnormal at work. Remember the ruins where we first met? The glade near the ruins full of huge flowers? Glades such as that tend to appear all over the stolen lands. Seems strange, does it not? Especially if we take into account that these magic seeds, or the portals that they create, look like flowers themselves. Jod even called the disaster the bloom. I like to research the natural phenomenon, and perhaps... He stops talking, and loud, hasty steps are heard from the main entrance. It's him! He's back! What weird vanishing trick you got there? Oh, you're back in. Welcome back! Keston runs into the room. Your Grace, we have trouble. The peasants are rioting. Oh, good.
Ugh, that's the only solution those nitwits can come up with. Don't worry, Baron. As long as you're not setting fires to the streets, we still have a chance of coming to a peaceful resolution. If you allow me, I'll go and speak with them. Do my best to calm the crowd down.
And if peace doesn't prevail, your guards and I will stand with you. Let's go. I can hear the shouting even from here. Oh, good. You know, when you tell people that they're a riot, usually that's a positive thing and you think they're funny. But when there's actually a riot in front of you, it's really not that funny. Alright, so how bad is this riot going to be? I'll have to face the consequences of all my decisions up until this point.
I tire.
That's a pretty big mob. The murmuring crowd takes up almost the entire square. The murmuring turns to shouts at your arrival, and a stone flies out of the crowd and strikes the cobble at your feet. Ah, I see that you are a squire. Oh, there he is! At last, damn his eyes! We have several options to try and speak. We could be evil, but we're not. We can't do that. Instead, we are good. Please, hear me out before you lynch me. I know you're tired and disgruntled. I am too. Day after day, I and my companions seek a solution to your misfortune. We saved so many from this fatal disease. If the gods have mercy, we can save even more. So please, let us do what we can. Return to your homes, to your loved ones. They need you, just as I need your patience and good faith. The crowd before you sways and mumbles. People look at one another, talk in a hushed tone, shake their heads and frown. It seems rebels who were screaming and jeering a minute ago lost all their confidence. Finally, one of the peasants opens his mouth.
The Baron is right.
You really believe this? It's pure nonsense.
Don't you get it? We could run the Baron through, but it wouldn't change a thing. He's more of use to us alive than dead. So be it, Baron. We'll let you pass, but don't forget, we're trusting you with our lives. Find the source! Save the children from this terrible sickness!
I'm glad that my people believe that I can do the good thing. I'm glad it paid off to be good. But we're not done yet here.
Follow my lead.
We have to go to the main square. And we should try to find the person for our other artisan, the other evil one. You know. I'm not really good with names. I don't remember what it was. It started with an S. It had a Y in it. If I'm not staring at the name, I don't remember it. I have to deal with a lot of names in this game, okay? But they said they had a house here in the capital. Looks like business is back to usual here. I don't think I go into this house very often.
In due time.
Let's go in. Oh boy, another loading screen. There are two kinds of visitors a ruler must address, boring ones and amusing ones. The bright side, you have servants to address and handle all the boring problems. Lander Levita. Oh, I'm glad we didn't take Lander. Oh, there it is. Sartain. I think we should quick save. This, if only I had any second level spells left, this would be a time for me to use Mirror Image. My spell options are limited, but I have plenty of song uses left for a day. I should probably heal myself up just to be sure. I am exhausted. That will hurt my ability to handle this. I really should rest before I go and do anything like this. You know what? We have other ways to deal with this. Let's try... maybe by name. Do I have a scroll of mirror image? Sort alphabetically. It's sorted alphabetically. So, mage armor? Protection. No, we don't have any mirror image. That's awful. We can drink all these cure potions. They are weighing us down. Let's get the health topped up. Okay, so do I have a potion of mirror image? I don't know if such a potion exists. Nope, looks like no. I could start with... We could use a blur. We'll use a blur. That'll be good enough. How about... Do I have a scroll of summoning? Yeah, we just need a couple of wolves. We just need a couple of wolves to get things started out. Alright. One wolf. Sartain gazes at you in astonishment. Something seems different. No longer does he appear dim-witted and servile. Instead, he seems self-confident and firm.
I didn't expect to see you here. How can I help you?
You've been spoiling Nazriel's work, haven't you? Sartain sneers and throws his hands up playfully.
You've got me, I confess. Who figured it out? You or her? Anyway, that's not important right now. Why did I do it? Purely for the sake of revenge. Years ago, she invested a lot of effort in devastating my father, who was himself a well-known weaponsmith. He lost everything that was dear to him, his reputation, his workshop, his whole life's purpose. When I found out that my rascals were here, I decided to seize the opportunity. I arrived here, got myself an apprentice's position, and set my hands to work. I'm smarter and more skilled than she might think. I worked hard by the anvil during the day and crafted cursed items at night. Nazriel's pride is her soft spot, the perfect place to strike. I decided to tarnish her image, make her look clumsy and incompetent, ruin her reputation, and of course destroy the masterpiece she's been making such a fuss over. I'd hoped to see Nazriel's head on a chopping block, but since you're here, I have a better idea. Your Grace, would you like to hire a new weaponsmith? I'm aware you have a deal with Nazriel. Well, if you could decide to break that deal and declare me a court master blacksmith, and allow me to keep Nazriel as an assistant, oh, I would never thank you enough. What do you say? I respect our deal with Nazriel. You are going to jail. So that's how it is. Oh well, I was prepared for this turn of events. Let's see how well you can handle my new friends. Tiny stone animal figures appear in Sartain's hands. He scatters them all around.
Enemy approaching.
Ah, I see you are better at summoning than I am. The game? Game? Turn base on, turn base off. Okay, how about... I'm in a really bad position. I can't seem to... Okay, I can move. So, I want to get out of this corner. And I'm going to scream really loudly at all of you. Does that sound good? Okay, I did not stop the cats, but I did stop, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Alright, I'm not fine. Let's just yell. Okay, we stunned most of them this time. We stunned most of them. I could drink a potion. I could drink a potion, or I could call lightning. I think it's time to call lightning. Let's put that here. Alright, that one's wiped off. That one continues to claw at me. The concealment helped. Scream. Toggle the lightning. Just a little bit more. Displacement. Alright, there's all your cats down. Let's see you dodge this!
I tire.
Well exhausted, I win. That gave us a cloak of resistance +2, ring of protection +1, belt of giant strength +2, and a mithril chain shirt. Mithril items weigh less. We also got an acid flask, potion of blur, and a keen scimitar. That could be better than the slicers that we're using. That could be better than the slicers that we're using on Ragongar, because the critical range also affects his spells, if I remember correctly. The slicer's a +4 when he's holding a spell, but like, he relies on his strength to hit things more than anything. Critical threat range, though. Critical threat range, though. It's a lot to be able to get that kind of a benefit out of your weapon.
May we have
I'm really surprised that I was able to handle that, actually. How's my alignment looking? Still neutral good. I need to make another lawful action. And I know exactly who we can talk to be able to get a lawful action. Our one companion that we have had no dialogue choices with whatsoever, Nok-Nok. Let's talk to Nok-Nok. One of Nok-Nok's ears perks up as you approach. He affixes you with a single eye and waits. I'd like to know more about you. Nok-Nok smiles.
I'm the right place.
He jabs his thumb into his own chest, then narrows his eyes at you suspiciously.
But depend on what you want knowing you want.
How'd you get your name, Nok-Nok? Nok-Nok looks sheepish, and his eyes narrow, as if remembering.
Sound when others hit my head with rocks and sticks and boars, making knocking noise, giving me lumps. Usually hit me 2 times.
He rubs his skull, which you now notice resembles a tiny cluster of knobby, calloused hills. He then gives you a feral grin.
Then I show them me hero. Then I knock them.
We have to make the lawful choices. From pain comes strength. Nok-Nok shakes his head.
No, mostly hurt. Then stop hurting after a while. Barely feel it.
That's what never mind.
But tribe hitting me, giving me name.
Nok-Nok makes a face. You think? It's hard to tell.
It Nok-Nok's fault, though. Mom's not raised Nok-Nok in cage. Let him run around, getting adventures.
Who was your mother? Nok-Nok shrugs.
Not no. One day realize I am wandering around. Go find other goblins. Then...
He raps his head twice.
Knock.
What do you mean you were not raised in a cage? Nok-Nok nods, giving you a pitying look.
You longshanks raise your shortshanks bad. Goblins raise right. Keep children in cages until bigger. It's a smart way to raise kids. Not wait until cry, until put spiders in cage. Or snakes.
Mr. Village? Nok-Nok frowns, then lights up.
The village?
Then his expression breaks, and he sighs wistfully.
Yes. Smell like toads. Beasts eat bad goblins. Children kept in cages. All as it should be.
The face lightens up again.
But at least no see chief again. That good.
Enough talking about you.
Enough.
He nods. I'd like to ask you about goblins. Nok-Nok blinks with his right eye, then with his left one.
Well, ask.
Why do you mangle words? Nok-Nok peers at you, then shakes his head slowly.
Not us, you. You longshanks and halfshanks are drunk with words. Use too many. Like a cloud of flies out of your mouth. All that noise make it hard to listen to you. See, here you...
Nok-Nok raises his hand and flaps it, pantomiming talking.
Me buried, greed word, ask word, more words, and boring words.
The hand slows then dips, making snoring noises.
And me now sleep. Not your fault.
Nok-Nok gives you a pitying look as he tucks his hand away.
Nok-Nok help you if he can, but if you not will talk right. Longshanks and halfshanks, and goblin half-headed, no brain. When you all the half-heads who drink too many words and vomit them out. Don't tell the halfshanks, Lindsay.
Are you the other goblins who speak common better? Are there other goblins who speak common better than you?
Other goblins?
Nok-Nok glares at you, then raises his nose, and pinches it, as if smelling something foul.
Other tribes, they put on big show, add extra words, waste of everyone's time.
He removes his fingers from his nose and shakes his head, then gives a sinister grin, as if about to tell a ghost story. I still say you all mangle your speech. You're worse than most of your kin.
Legends say other goblins steal words from Nok-Nok's tribe.
He glances around quickly, then leans in for a whisper.
Not true. They speak more words, but it's because they all curse to do so.
He stands proudly, his eyes closed, as if at attention.
In stolen lands, goblins speak correct.
As if trying to prove his point, Nok-Nok remains silent, his eyes closed. After a moment, one of his ears pricks up, and he cracks an eyelid open slightly to see if you're still there, then shuts it. Do you have some problem with Lindsay? Nok-Nok wrinkles his nose. The visual is horrific.
Lindsay smell gross, like spring flowers. Has tiny ears, never files teeth, combs her hair till shiny, washes self in clothes. See,
He shudders.
right in book all time.
Oh, is that all? Nok-Nok shakes his head violently, making a vomiting motion.
Other halfshanks, they like squealing blood bags waiting to pop, but Lindsay like chatterfly.
Nok-Nok rolls his eyes.
Lindsay, right.
He folds his arms, then huffs it under his breath.
She sing bad too.
What's wrong with writing?
What wrong with writing?
Nok-Nok stares at you as if a frog just hopped out of your mouth.
All goblins know why. It's stealing think thoughts. Take them away.
He shudders again.
Lindsay do it all time, but somehow she still have think thoughts. Why she has so many?
So, no wedding then?
What? No, not one wife.
He makes a gagging motion.
Not her. Gross, getting sick.
You step back. He genuinely looks like he's about to vomit.
Wait, no. Swallow it all back. All good.
Nok-Nok licks his lips. Disgusting! I'll tell her you said that. Nok-Nok's eyes widen. He seems genuinely terrified.
I'll tell her that. No, she writing book, curse, Nok-Nok.
Right. You don't like Lindsay. Enough about her.
Yes, no more Lizzie, ever.
What's wrong with writing? We already got this. If goblins don't write, how do you remember anything? Nok-Nok stares at you for several moments, then a few more. Finally, he leans in and whispers,
Why you stare at me? I have a bug on my face?
it's like you forgot everything. Okay. I've heard goblins sing. It's infamous. Nok-Nok frowns.
What, like, knock-knock kick fast, knock-knock bite deep, knock-knock stab you while you sleep?
There's a long, uncomfortable silence as Nok-Nok stares at you, dragging his fingers across his blade, as if coaxing it to sleep. Nok-Nok finally breaks the silence and shaking his head.
No, songs make ears hurt. One bury head in the dirt.
But that was a rhyme. And a song.
That, a song it not what you thought.
If you're making light of me, I promise you'll be wearing the next Hangman's Noose.
No,
Holds up his hands, his eyes wide.
never mock hero. Mock, never mock you.
Keep in mind, I'm only making the lawful actions because I'm trying to tilt towards lawful. This guy also, like... It feels like the only thing he really respects is strength and violence. Prometheus would read that and treat him with strength and violence. Let's talk about something else.
About something else, what?
What will you do now? Nok-Nok looks at you, then frowns, as if sizing you up.
Be a hero. Knock-knock teach you. You teach knock-knock.
He gives you a grin, then nearly spits in his face.
You see, yes.
Alright. I think we are now lawful good. We're sufficiently tipped over. It's a shame that we had to make 3 lawful evil actions in a row to be able to tip us here, but we're here. We are now sufficiently lawful to be able to do things. I am exhausted. I'm definitely going to need to rest. And I'll think about what companions I need to bring with me next time. Another opportunity to sell my stuff, though, right before I finish the episode. Thank you all once again so much for watching. I really appreciate that you guys are joining me along this journey. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the characters that we have with us now. This is really good. This is really good for me. So, if you're going to be here next time, you know I'll be here too. Thank you all so much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Good night, everybody.